chérie, chérie, le beau Paris, c'est tout.
Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free mini photo tutorials. Do any of you know where this is? I've got a feeling some of you might, because it's becoming a very famous Parisian landmark, although it's only been there maybe 10 years now. And it's part of what they call, well, something like le kiosque des noctambules, something like this. I used to know what it meant because I looked it up. But anyway, the night something or other, the night walkers kiosk or something like this. And it's actually the entrance or exit, if you like, to a metro station at Palais Royal. And it's really, really stunning. It's amazing, but terribly difficult to photograph. I'll just show you. This is a bench on one side of it, obviously, and let me just show you what the top of it looks like. You see, you're pointing up into the sky. Horrendously difficult to photograph. I've yet to get a photograph of this which I can honestly say I'm proud of. Just zapping through some of these to show you, to give you an idea for it. This is trying to be artistic. You see, it's a couple of these domed things, really amazing. Massive balls of glass here, really hundreds of them, and really it's a very, very spectacular thing. There you can see the blue one in the distance. There's a red one and a blue dome next to each other, and there's the blue one, and you can see the red one there. And down by the side of it, you've got this sort of stuff with little bits of glass as well. And it was all over the papers when it was done, so really something quite spectacular and horrendously difficult to photograph the dome, because you're always looking up and the sky's almost always bright, and what you would think would have nice light shining through those balls just doesn't happen. Your camera decides there's far too much light, shuts down the exposure, and you get yucky, dull things, which is a shame. So one way of getting around that is to concentrate on a detail, and this is maybe a less photographed part of it, this seat here, which is a shame because it's a rather splendid seat. This was my first shot of it. I saw the person that I was with was shooting the seat, and I thought, yep, okay, I'll take a shot of this. In the past I've taken shots of this with some forlorn looking person sitting on one side of it, which was nice enough, but just concentrating on this in its own right seemed like quite a good idea. As in some other photographs, completely surrounded by this uniform grey, and it itself is a form of grey. In fact, it's more silver, you'd have to say, but maybe silver is grey, I'm not sure. And surrounded by these, with these little hints of colour, yellow, blue, red, blue discs here. So in and of itself, it's an interesting subject, but I did think that possibly there was something lacking, so I cheated, if you like. And can you guess what I did? Have a look at this picture very carefully and guess what I did. Well, this is what I did. Put a leaf on it. Wow, spectacular special effects there, huh? You can see the leaf down there, and if you compare that one to this one, I personally think it's better. Not just for the leaf either. For what I've done, I've moved slightly. Look at the way the legs are. You see the legs there, the way they're pointing, that's going slightly off to the left, that's going more off to the right at an angle, which is nice because I'm looking down on it and I'm slightly in the middle. This one, look at the difference between these legs here, this one and this one, and in this other shot. Look at that, the angle is far more exaggerated. And even in this third picture which I took, it's the same thing. Really, it's because I'm on a wide angle lens and I'm very close in. You can get that very dynamic effect of these things zooming away from each other as it seems, whereas in fact they're actually they're actually parallel. So out of this shot and this shot, which one do you think I chose? This one or this one? And the answer is this one. Now, why did I choose this one? Just going back to the originals. This one here, it's nice. I like it. I like the angles and everything of the legs. There you can see this leg, and these two, which are actually in the same sort of plane. Well, not the same sort of line there. And if you compare with this one, you can actually see all 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and this one here isn't hidden behind, and that pleases me more. There's just something more dynamic about it, which gave me this final picture. And it's a strange picture. It needed something. If I hadn't put this leaf on the bench there, it would have been I don't know, an interesting photograph, yes, and yet lacking that special something. Normally benches are for sitting on, so a person could have filled the gap, although I wouldn't have been able to shoot so low down, or I'd have chopped their head off, or they could have lain on it, I suppose. But then the person would have become the subject of the photo, and I didn't want that. I wanted this bench because it's a really amazing bench. It's the only one like it in Paris. And it's also surrounded by this grey, and this grey has character in its own right. Look at the contrast here by these. I don't know if the artist, the architect who designed this, had this in mind, but look, lots and lots and lots of little grey squares, and here lots and lots and lots of little grey circles, and that's very pleasing. And the grey squares fill in this side of the picture, and the grey circles form the frame for this side. So it's really completely surrounded by these little grey morsels of one type or another, squares or circles, and there's this nice line behind it, giving it a kind of interior frame as well. Plus the zappy angle that you get from having a wide angle lens and going in close, you get this zooming away effect. So, going back to what I was saying, a person wouldn't have done it for me. I wanted this to be the subject, this little corner of amazing architecture, but it was a little bit cold and inhuman. So I saw the leaf, and it was there under the chair, and I'm not afraid of arranging photographs if necessary, and it was ideal. Nature was telling me, in fact, look, pop this leaf onto the bench and it'll be much nicer. We've left it there for you. So I thanked Mother Nature and put it on the bench. You might have been wondering where to put something like this on the bench. And by the way, if it had been a little broken toy, or I wouldn't have liked it so much, but because it's natural, it contrasts very nicely with this highly unnatural architecture. Everything here is man-made, clearly, and there's this definitely nature-made leaf. Plus the fact that there's lovely autumn colours, and there's this cold steely grey, or aluminium grey, or stony grey metal all around. Now you might be saying, where should I put the leaf? Good question. You could have put it here, actually, on the ground. That would have worked well. And thinking about it, I might have done that, actually. It would have fitted in very well here. Or you might have said, well, look, aren't you supposed to put things a bit off to the left and a bit off to the right? Well, it depends. For a start, the leaf is slightly above the centre line here, so it's not dead centre. But if you'd put it off here, on this side, it would have been unbalancing, I think. And ditto for here. Again, possibly too unbalancing and too small. I wanted the leaf to be a major aspect of the photograph, to contrast radically with this. So I slapped it slap bang in the middle of the bench. It's slightly above the centre of the photo, so it's not absolutely central. I could have put it over one of these holes, but that would have been a shame, because the holes echo all of these holes, and also the roundness of these poles. So I wanted to keep those holes there, alive and open, as it were. So, for all of that coming from this this rather interesting little photograph of this little corner. Keep your eyes open for those, and see what on earth you can do with what other people have spent a lot of time creating. Okay, that's it for this time. Thanks for watching, and see you next time in Paris. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.